Hey guys, welcome to Back to Basics, our weekly tutorial series. So again, we're going to be going through some cool textures. Textures are really awesome. I think they help you enhance your photos really nicely. So I was playing around in Photoshop and realized that you can use textures for text as well, not just photos. They also work well with text. So by playing around, I found a cool, simple way to enhance your text using textures, and I figured I would share my technique with you guys so you guys can have some enhanced text as well. That is at a beginner's stage of Photoshop. So, go to google.com or DeviantArt or Bing or whatever search engine you want to use for your textures, and find a texture you like. I'm going to use this purple texture here because I think it looks really cool. By all means, use your own, whatever you think is awesome. So then once you find your texture, then you're going to go ahead and open Photoshop. And I have a black document already made. And I mean, you could probably try and use a white document maybe, but I think for this effect we're going for, I think a black document would suit your effect nicely. So, open your black document and paste on your lovely texture. It'll be quite large. That's fine. Leave it as is. It covers the document. That's all you need to know. So we're going to hide this for a bit because we're going to now make our text. Now, my text is already been made. I'm using Arial Black. And I've set my fill at 0 because we're going to add other effects to it. And with it being so I've just used white, as you'll see here. That's 100%. And Arial Black is what you need to use for this tutorial. You should have Arial Black already in your computer. If not, then I don't know what's wrong with your computer because it's a standard thing. Everyone's got it. So yeah. Alright, so once you do that, again, I'm going to drop my opacity to 0. Double click. And you're going to add an inner shadow with these settings here. White will be your choice of color. Your blend mode will be set to normal, not screen. And 90 degrees for your angle. 1px for your distance. And then your choke and size are both 0. Next on the list, we have inner glow. Normal for your blend mode. 16% for your opacity. And black is your choice of color for this. And you want to have your choke at 29%. And your size at 10. Alrighty, last but not least, we have a gradient overlay we're setting up. And you want to have blend mode normal, and your angle at negative 90, and the rest can stay the same. Your color choice, though, is going to be a light gray to a white. Any light gray will do. You don't need to use my colors if you don't want to. That's fine. As long as it's a preferably light gray. Not too white, but not too black. Just a light, nice gray. Then click OK, and you will have this effect as you see here. A very nice, subtle, grayish looking text. So, once you have that text made, you're going to then hold down your Control or Command key, click your thumbnail to make a selection around your entire text. Then, you will then make your lovely texture visible yet again, and make sure this texture is on top of everything. Okay, otherwise you won't get the next effect we're going for. Then click down here to your mask tool, which is your square box with a circle in the center. Click it, and boom. Oh, hold on. Make sure you click the texture layer when you do so. Alright, so on the texture layer, you want to add the mask layer to that, not your text. Alright, you should see this. That's what you can see. Now, as you'll notice, it kind of doesn't really show our previous effects on our text layer at all. So to do so, I then drop the opacity on this layer to 50%. And it then kind of shows through our lovely effects we did in the previous layer. And you're free to go ahead and play around with your opacity on this because some textures may be too dark, some may be too light. I don't know. For me, 50% look well, but you may need to alter that. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this is pretty cool, but how can it get even cooler? Well, Let me explain. If you go down here to your lovely shape tools, you'll notice you have a lot of cool custom shape tools in your shapes. Now, some of you may not have all these shapes in your selector. In the event these are not already previously all in here, because I know they're all in Photoshop, but you may not have them loaded in here, if you need to, go over here to your right little thing here and click on Load Shapes. Your shapes should be in your presets, which is in your Photoshop folder, in your programs, or in your applications window. I would show you how to do it, but it's different for Macs than it is for Windows. So if I showed you do it on a Mac, it wouldn't be the same for you, and you would get confused. So I'd rather just explain sort of kind of how you would do it for yours and how I would do it for mine. For the Macs, it's in the applications under Photoshop. I believe for a Windows, if I remember correctly, it's in a Windows, it's in Programs, and then it's in your folder there. Yes, I think so. I haven't had a Windows for about 2 years now, so I kind of don't remember Photoshop in a Windows setting, but that's kind of how you do it. So if they're not all loaded, load them up, and then you'll have all of these cool shapes here. Then, once you have them all nicely loaded, you're going to want to select one of your shapes. Now, I happen to think this one here, the diagonal tile, I think that looks pretty cool for this texture that I'm using. But you can play around and see what looks good for your texture or for your particular liking and style you want to go for. So once you do that, make your lovely shape surround your text like this, and you want to make sure black is your color because it has to match the background of your well, it doesn't have to match the background of your entire image, but black usually works best for this because that way it can blend in more easily. If you were to use a red, it would blend in and look really ridiculous, so I happen to think black looks really nice, so use a black. When in doubt, go with black. And then now, for the next part, you need to rasterize this layer. So right-click your shape layer and click Rasterize. This will then make you able to do almost virtually anything to the layer without having any complications. Alright, now what you notice now is that mine's very blended in. That's only because my background's black as well as my shape layer. So to make sure it's completely only on the text and nothing else, we're going to go ahead and click the text layer yet again. Make that a selection. And then on your shape layer, you're going to then add a mask layer to mask out everything so it's only inside the text and nothing else. Alright, this is where we are right now. I hope you're with me. If you're not, take a step back. I will stay here and help you out. Alrighty, Roo. Now, to really make this lovely diagonal thing blend in really nicely, I'm going to drop this opacity down to nearly almost nothing. 10%, guys. Yeah, and actually, you know what? 15% looks really nice. And you'll see how it kind of blends in, but it doesn't overpower it. It doesn't really ruin the texture. It gives it more of a nice blending in. And by using different shapes, you'll get different various effects. Now, if you want to, now, here's another thing you can do. You could also take your, where is it here? The magic wand tool, and you could select each letter individually and have an individual shape on each individual letter. That would also be cool. You could do that as well. And you would do the same process. You would do the whole make a shape, make it black, rasterize it, and blend in and whatnot. Same technique. You just do each letter individually instead of the whole entire instead of the whole entire text. That would also be a really awesome text. And like I said, playing around with your textures in your within this radius of cool text, you could get various outcomes, and you could even go as far as to make maybe a typographic type text. That'd be really awesome. Like if you take your text and you make one like this, you could then duplicate that, and you can even add more text, like write PS for Photoshop. You could resize that down to next to almost nothing, and and place that over here, and put different various text all throughout it with the same effect. That would be extremely cool. Of course, I won't show you that because that would take forever and a day, but hey, that'd still be pretty cool. So, that is the basics of how to add textures to your text and making it look awesome. I hope this helped you out in some way. If it did, hit my like button. If I didn't really help you out that much, I apologize for that. I do try and help everyone in some small way. It may not be all at once, but at least someone's being helped at this point in time. So, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe, comment, and like, because you all are awesome. And here at Jazz Tutorials, we are all Team Awesome. Join the team, because we are awesome. And I know you are too.